the Amazonian, special loyalty. Praise to our Savior who granted us the freedom. Allegiance to the hero who fought along we gather. Glory to glory, we rise and never to fall. Here in a nation, flowing with earth and holy. Glory, glory, glory to the Father for making you a nation, a joy forevermore. Ambazonia, land of freedom, you shall live in plenty in our need, and your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High God being the watchman of this nation. Ambazonia, land of freedom, you shall live in plenty in our need, and your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High God being the watchman of this nation.
The year 2024 will go down in the annals of our history as one of the most pivotal years in a war of liberation, basically in the life of our nation. The year was pregnant with turning points, and it was a year that brought into sharp focus the promise that we made to the Amazonian people, that the liberation of our land was not going to be a walk in the park. It was going to be hard work from top to bottom. And the only time that we are going to be triumphal, that we are going to say the job is done, is when our flag fly free, strong and proud over Buea. Until then, the hard work of liberation, of nation building, block by block, neighborhood by neighborhood, goes on. Revolutionary greetings, my fellow Amazonians. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever in the world you find yourself on this 18th day of January, the year of our Lord 2025. To our captives who are in the dungeons in Yaoundé, Una Place Day. To our IDPs, both internal and external, Una Place Day. To our nationalists, the Amazonian nationalists, wherever you are scattered in the world, in the diaspora, Una Place on this morning, my time, a day. And to those who are on the front lines, to the best of us, our forces, who stand between a brutal terrorist occupation force and our defenseless people. My fellow fighters, comrades in arms, Una Place day. My fellow Ambazonians, the year 2024 in the war of liberation in Ambazonia was very, very critical in our ultimate goal of liberation. The War Council, the ground leadership, undertook certain priorities. Some of the biggest priorities that we have yet tackled in this liberation. The terrorist occupiers circled 2024 as the year that they will ultimately subjugate our land and silence your liberation forces, while the Ambazonian people, through the Ambazonian Governing Council, looked at it as the year where we were going to take a giant leap towards securing our land so that our destiny could be fulfilled. And that major step was the launching of the Ambazonian Liberation Tax. Last year, we laid out Ambazonian people some of the goals that were clear. The idea that we were not going to allow the occupation forces the space to organize events celebrating the capture and the subjugation of our people in terms of the 11 Februaries, the 20th Mays, and some of their elections. Your liberation fighters largely accomplished their goals. Those dates, the 11 Februaries, the 20th Mays, were points of embarrassment to La République du Cameroon, points of humiliation, that they were humiliated around the world. Those days serve as markers that were pointed out to them in different boardrooms, the emptiness of their claims that Ambazonia has been subjugated, that they were in control of Ambazonia. This because they open their military bases and parade in their military bases inside the depths of their military bases and try to sell it as evidence of their people marching on the streets of Ambazonia. We know of instances where they had to do their events days in advance, even within these military bases, because of the fear that the Ambazonian people were going to show their disgust and embarrass them on those days. We know that the year 2025, they will attempt to do just that. On the 11th of February or the 20th of May, and right now, what they are slated as an October election for their president, for their zombie president. As part of our defense project for this year, we know that we don't have to say this, but it is very important to say. Ambazonia is a land at war. You don't organize civil events in a war zone. So it is very, very critical that every Ambazonian stay at home on the 11th of February. That you protect your children at home. You don't allow agents of chaos, foreign agents, like the Ngala Gerard, sponsored from the treasury in Yaoundé, to come and entice your kids and yourselves to get out and put you as human shields in front of La République forces. Ngala Gerard is a foreign agent, and those like him in our neighborhoods, the Blacklegs, these are foreign agents. They are part of the machine of genocide that has resulted in the burning down of hundreds of villages, documented by the international community. The massacre of defenseless people, all documented by the international community. These people, they are not civilians. They are a vital part of the cog of the machine of genocide and crimes against humanity that is massacring our people from north to south, east to west of Ambazonia. And it is the right. It is a solemn promise of the Ambazonian people to mete out the justice that these terrorists deserve. My fellow Ambazonians, we promised you last year that we were on the project of capturing and securing, at the very least, a state of the Ambazonian Republic. We are still on that goal. I can report to you that while progress has been made, it is not the full progress that we promised. But as I indicated, we know who we are, we know where we are going, and no matter how long it takes, we don't give up, we redouble our efforts. And that is what is going on right now. It has not been a year without tremendous sacrifices from our people. As I indicated, We did not go into this blindly. We knew the sacrifices that was demanded of us. We had been paying it, but we decided to fight back. So with the sacrifices that we had on the field of battles, in the guise of the weapons, of the effangs, of the popos, the resilience and the guarantee of our ultimate victory was the intensification that you saw and you see ongoing in the battlefield. That our forces have not backed down, they have instead stepped up. That the celebration of our defeat through some of these sacrifices by La République du Cameroun and the internal enablers were people thinking that the knockouts, the little knockouts that they use in our quartiers that we use as children was an atomic bomb that had gone up. My fellow Ambazonians, your liberation struggle marches on arrogantly, unbowed, because the goals and the plan and the foundation that this liberation was built on were sound and reachable, were sound and achievable. We did not promise what we couldn't deliver. No people who stood up and fight for their liberation have ever been defeated in the annals of history. We are not going to be the first. And the tremendous work that was done in 2024 demonstrated that fact. All of the targets that we set in terms of making sure that the number of villages that are isolated and systematically destroyed goes down almost to zero, all of those targets were met. We protected our villagers. The incidences of whole villages being burned down went way down in 2024. It was in direct correlation with the launching of the liberation tax. Because I can tell you, my fellow Ambazonians, that a lot of different blocks through the loan scheme that was implemented got strengthened. That reduced the instances of your Ambazonian Defense Forces, of your army, being able to joined barracks and moved from one state to the other in order to protect villages. Some of the blocks that were strengthened were able in their own locale to protect the villages that were around them rather than waiting from backup to come from a different state. My fellow Amazonians, the coup de grace that launched the last quarter of the liberation struggle was the October 1st demonstration by our forces from north to south and east to west Amazonia, where our forces, despite the promise and assurances given by La République du Cameroon to its citizens by the Blacklegs to the foreign communities, the Amazonian people were able to put on a show on 1st October that tells the world that this is our land and we are the masters of our land. Your defense forces created that space for the Amazonian people, which allowed the Amazonian Governing Council to showcase some of the work that has been going on the ground with the use of the liberation tax, the community schools, the civil projects that have been taken, like the constructions of roads and bridges, the construction of hospitals, that allowed a platform, October 1, to showcase the length and the breadth of the work of nation building that even as we fight is going on. And so we come to the 2025 plan for our liberation. A year where in the deepest of my heart builds on the progress and the hardships that we faced in 2024. So as we look at this year, we hold dearly the tenets on which this revolution was built. Increasing the cost of occupation, internationalization, targeted diplomacy. To build on that. So how do we go about this? We heard the Vice President, Dr. Nyi, made the commitment of the 1,000-man increase in the defense forces. These are not things that are done with the view of the capturing of a land or the liberating of a land from La République du Cameroon. These are things that are done with the view of securing the border of a liberated Amazonia. So we have our work cut out for us this year. the number of Ambazonians that will be called upon to participate will increase far beyond that troop level number that the vice president put down in his address to the Ambazonian people. It will be way more. We saw how from October to the end of the year, December 2024, we saw the instances of the Kale-Kales, the extrajudicial killings in our neighborhoods, the humiliations, the rapes, how that went down and disappeared, especially around Mezam, based on the implementation of certain principles. And we are going to expand that in this 2025. And this comes with every neighborhood, every village must make sure that they have a neighborhood watch. A neighborhood watch. That they institute the Ambazonian Defense Forces, civil defense forces within the communities. These are critical to act as an early warning system that sends out the alarm to the community when La République du Cameroun terrorist occupation forces are approaching. These genocidaires cannot catch our villages. If they break through the defense forces, they cannot catch our villages and neighborhoods unawares. That's why the neighborhood watch and the civil defense forces needs to be in every quarter, every village, with a rotation in the number of guards that man this early warning system and have an evacuation plan for the villages and the neighborhood to get to safety before our defense forces appear on the space. So we are going to make sure that these are implemented. And that is why the Ambazonian Defense Forces will be increasing its get together with the community. It would increase the instances of community mobilization with the Ambazonian people. Good practices will be taught to them, and their efforts and how they could contribute to the ultimate goal of the Ambazonian people is laid out to them. The second part, we will also, especially as we talk about the 1,000-man and the civil defense forces, we will make sure on a block by block, neighborhood by neighborhood basis that the instances of La République du Cameroun catch and kill checkpoints are dismantled and disrupted all over Ambazonia, wherever they appear, in our towns, our villages, and our roads, to go after them, to make sure that as their economy has crumbled and they cannot pay their frontline soldiers, that these soldiers, as they have been doing, do not use the Kale-Kales and these their checkpoints as their extortion, extrajudicial killings, points where they are able to extort money and relieve our people of their food that they are taking from their farms to their homes to feed their families. And these hungry terrorists take to go and feed themselves and their own families because their terrorist government send them to occupy a foreign land without providing them the pay and comfort that any decent government will provide to its own forces. We will continue the instances of reducing the kidnappings and taking care that all the blacklegs that have been set up through the pay of the foreign occupiers who are in our communities, instigating our community on community violence so as to turn us to fight amongst ourselves and weaken us, to act as the spies that point out nationalist homes and their families to be taken out and killed, that we bring justice to these embedded cancers within our communities. Making sure that our kids are safe when they attend their community schools, and that our villages, our villagers are safe when they go about reconstructing their broken lives by La République du Cameroon as they prepare for the Ambazonian state. We will continue with the recruitment and the instances of liberating large portions of our land, especially the task of making sure that at least 1 or 2 states fall into our hands within this fighting season. I will promise this, and I will say this, although all of the strategic programs and strategic projects I am unable to bring to you, because I know that the weaver birds are listening. What I have presented to you is just the tip of the work. The plan for this year, my fellow Ambazonians, is not a plan of liberation. It is a plan of governance. I beg you, and I am serious about it, we meet just half of the goals of what we are planning, Ambazonia will be liberated this year. But until then, we must fight day in, day out, and sacrifice as if it depends on us alone. That is why I am launching this tremendous call for recommitment to our liberation struggle by the Ambazonian people. I know that the weaver birds amongst us, La République du Cameroon, their agents, those paid from their pockets, ill-gotten goods from our land, those that they have embedded in the foreign capitals, may have made the Ambazonian people, some of you, to question your right to make sure that your people are not massacred. You might have looked at the leader of our liberation, Dr. Cho Lucas Ayaba, being held by a no-no law illegal absolutely illegal and inhuman, veering on racist detention by the Norwegian government, and you think that, oh, I need to question whether La République du Cameroon should have free access to burn down Mator, to burn down Dadi, to burn down Bali, to burn down Pinyin, to burn down Gabu. You might question that because you see that it will be inhuman. It will be against all law, both the law of God and the law of man, for the Ambazonian people to abandon their rights to self-defense and allow their families, their cousins, their sisters, their grandparents to be burned down, to be massacred by a country who seek to enslave their land. That is unconscionable. My fellow Ambazonians, understand this fact. The United States of America went to war with the nation of Great Britain, the world power at the time. Do you know the reason that they went to war? They went to war because of taxation without representation. That is a reason that people fought and died for Ambazonia, and now they are the greatest power on earth. So I am asking you, Ambazonians, if the Americans can go to war on taxation without representation, can you abandon your own war with everything that has been done to you? What will the Americans have done if 1% of what has happened to you had happened to them, if they could go to war on taxation without representation? Is it when your prime minister was taken away? Your House of Chiefs? Is it when your power camp was dismantled and shipped and equipment shipped away? Is it when your life savings in the marketing board were looted? Is it when the Kale then do crimes against humanities, the news disasters, the massacres? When would it be? Our right to self-defense is sacrosanct. And we Ambazonians, no matter where in the world we are, it is our obligation to go down and fight if you are able to, and to provide the resources for our liberation forces to finish the job of liberating our land and safeguarding our people. That is the goal for 2025, and I can assure you the state of our liberation is strong. We are going into 2025 with a clear plan of action that I believe, if implemented and with your, is going to net for us the liberation of Ambazonia and the beginning of nation building. May God bless you, and may God bless Ambazonia. At this moment, with the end of this presentation, I wanted members of defense, our fellow Ambazonians, to be able to do a roundtable on these aspects. That roundtable will touch on these defense teams, and then from there we are going to move into the launching of the ground zero immediately into the launching of the ground zero liberation tax season. So I will ask our facilitator in the studio to bring in the participants for our defense roundtable.
Thank you so much, Dev Chair. Greetings, everybody. Today is the 18th of January 2025, and we are blessed to have the Dev Chair here with us and other members of the War Council. Today is a very, very sad day for Ambazonia as we find those who are supposed to be representing our tradition, the custodians of our tradition, are sacrificing our tradition in the altar of finance. It is just because we've been colonized, neo-colonized, and we don't have control over these um, um, sacrilege that these guys who are supposed to be protecting the culture committing and putting our stools upside down. So I bet you we are here to make sure that we have ourselves a country that respects our culture, that knows that the Fongs and the chief have their place and well respected, like they had the House of Chiefs in the days when we had control over ourselves. So that these stools, traditional stools that are hanging upside down, will not take place. So I want to thank you so much, Dev Chair. You have been a power to all of us. You've been the marrow. You've been the backbone to where we are standing now. I want to say a happy greetings to you and say thank you for 2024. And I welcome you to 2025 because I was there long ago in my brain. And I'm already home also because thanks to your services, I have smile on my face because of what I've seen from December till now. And it's all thanks to your services, members of the World Council, and the leadership of the AGOC. So, yeah, please, day. I also want to use this time to greet our VP, Dr. Julius Ni, and congratulate him and thank him for a job well done, and all the members of his leadership council. We are smiling people. I think before now we were kind of dormant, but now there is some kind of pepper on our backs. There is some kind of injection. I think I've gotten like high percentage of a Red Bull and whatsoever that I can jump and jump and jump. The Dev Chair just presented to us um, um, the yearly recap, that's 2024, and also give us a teaser for 2025. And I am here in the studio with some World Council members that I'm going to introduce as as I host this panel discussion with our great big bad boss, the Dev Chair. He don't need any introduction anymore because at least you already know him. Even when things are good, he has to smile. Dev Chair, give a smile to your people, please. Thank you. All right. I will be introducing the first person, that will be Pastor Roland. Pastor Roland is a die-hearted Amazonian and one of the founding fathers of the Amazonian Governing Council and current chairman of the Amazonian Governing Council mission in Great Britain. So, Pastor Roland, you're welcome to the studio. I think we might be having some problems with your
Yeah.
microphone. All right, good.
Yeah.
Go
Thank you
ahead,
very
sir.
much, High Chief, High Priest, and I also want to extend greetings to the Big Bad Boss and all the other um, members seated here today as we look retrospectively into what we have done so far and what we aim to do. Um, you know, I choose to see life from the perspective of the Word of God because I believe creation did not just exist by chance. If somebody, books are not printed by themselves, there is an author of a book. So creation itself has an author, and that author is God. Revelation chapter 12 says there was war in heaven. So even for peace to be in heaven, it took war for peace to reign. And so it is a righteous thing to rise up, stand for your right, defend your right, fight the enemy eyeball to eyeball. Let me hold my peace here as you will be introducing some other members of the panel. You are welcome, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pastor Roland. You heard him well. He has also related this situation to the Bible. For those who read the Bible, they will also agree with him that he's correct. So thank you so much, Pastor. And Pastor Roland is also the coordinator for the Atlantic State. So if you have anything that concerns Atlantic State, you could always get to Pastor Roland. So I move straight now to one of our icons. You've been seeing him also over ACN TV many times. He owns a podcast that he comes to give you good sweet news every day and to update you on the situation of our revolution. And that is no person than the great PK. Comrade PK is the logistic chief of the War Council. So, Comrade PK, you're welcome, sir.
Thank you, DDC. Thank you very much, and I'm honored to be in this panel with our defense chair. And I just want to also open up this with a statement from our current, I call him a prophet in Africa, Traore. He says that a slave that refuses to rebel deserves no pity. We fight this battle, I always say, unrepentantly, unapologetically, and we fight with our heads high. We have every right to fight for our land because we owe this to our future generations. Our sons and daughters are falling on the battlefield because they know they are doing an upright task at hand. We will not be silent wherever we are across the globe. Whether they jail our flesh, our spirits will still be talking till Amazonia is free. Thank you, DDC.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Logistic Chief. We also have in our midst here an Iron Lady, a woman of value, and she is the coordinator for Mezam, and no other person than Mangi. If we have, if she's still on studio.
I'm right here, DDC. Thank you so much. It's an honor to be part of this panel of strong men. You know, Mezam doesn't talk, they walk, they talk. So I don't have much to say. Mezam has been talking for me, and I'm just privileged to be part of this panel. I will come back later. Thank you.
Right. Thank you so much, Mangi. Oh, Amazonia, you see beauty, You see handsome men, we are blessed from all levels, and that is how our soil is also beautiful, handsome, and rich. When we get there, we shall show the world what we are talking about. We have all listened, ladies and gentlemen, to the defense chair, who've elaborated a lot on 2024 and is preparing us for 2025. And he's asking us to be happy and take this leap. And as he called this year, the year of the giant leap, as let me quote him, he said, is the year of the giant leap. Or was it 2024? 2024 was the year of the giant leap. So you all listen to this, and I want to start with Mange. What is your take on that very statement? Because I believe that statement is pregnant with some didactic materials.
Interesting. Yeah, 2024, we saw everything that a revolution has gone through. We went through it in 2024, and we emerged so strongly that we are seeing the results this 2025. That's just a summary of what I can say.
So, in other words, you say 2024 was the year of the good, the bad, and the ugly.
It was. We
All
lost
right.
one of our strongest, biggest number in 2024. We can never forget that year. And so it happened so that we can see 2025 in a big way. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mangi. The logistic chief, how pregnant is that statement to you?
Well, I assess that statement as the year that they distinguish the boys from toddlers. The men from kids. It's the year that we saw genuine selection of those who are fighting for Ambazonia and those who came in as profiteers. It's a year that we saw those who really had, those who put everything on the line for Ambazonia. There was a clear distinction, and those who were muddying the waters. So that distinction had to take place for us to refocus our attention and redirect our energy in the right places. So I think that was, I call it the year that the rubber met the road, where the revolution took a different turn. And the year that those who say Ambazonia and who mean Ambazonia from those who just sing the song Ambazonia. So that's how I can,
All right, thank you so much. So, according to you, it is the year that boys graduated from boys to men and girls graduated from girls to women, and it is that same year when Taya was put to use, right? All right, thank you so much. That's a great one. So I go to you, Reverend. You think and how pregnant is that very statement to you?
Yes, it shows that obstacles are not the end of a journey. They tend to show your resolve. A man is made out of the challenges he faces. So that just goes to prove the resolve of the ADF as the military of Ambazonia. When they took out a big number, they thought it has ended. But it spiraled around and even became worse. For example, in the past 2 weeks, about 13 of the terrorists have been dealt with by the Ambazonia Defense Forces. So it points to us that we are up to the task and we are strong to achieve the goal. I yield.
Okay, thank you so much, Pastor. Ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome once more to ACN TV. This is a panel discussion on the yearly plan that the chair just read to us, and we are trying to make sure that we digest every word from it. So, according to you, Reverend, obstacles are like stepping stones, and
For sure.
God always brings good out of evil situations. So,
Papa,
if
you
I
are the
might
high
say,
priest.
so all right, the deaf chair. I know that when you talk, it comes from inside because you have lived it, you have seen it, you have felt it. You have been tortured, you have been molested, you have been dehumanized. You have. Is there anything that they can do to a pig that they have not done to you? So I know sometimes if they get you up from sleep, you will say something. But I want to ask you, when you were using these words, what was in your mind? Because I know maybe you really had something before you came out with these beautiful, polished words that you said 2024, that 2024 was a giant leap. What did you see?
See, the depth of a people is not when things are going well, it is when things are tough. And that is when you know what, when we grow up, you always hear they say the one see are underbelly. And I think that instances where that is shown and you see it as being strong enough to do the job, that is when you know that you have won. Because if you never see that, you start getting confused whether if this happen, are we ready? Comrades, Ambazonia is ready. Ambazonia is ready. Look, the arrest of the CIC is not, of the leader of the liberation, is not a run-of-the-mill normal stuff. You are looking this in light with the arrest of the Mandela, and the South African struggle did not crumble. Right? So you are looking at this, the arrest of the Martin Luther Kings, and the civil rights did not crumble. Telling you that the struggle is no longer superficial, it is institutionalized.
Yep.
It is no longer a matter of the personality of an individual, it is a matter of a nation. The destiny of a nation. So we cleared a boundary. A very important question was asked, and that question was answered. And in many ways, look, the success of the liberation tax cannot be underestimated.
Yep.
In the reduction of violence in our villages and the instances of humiliation, of La République du Cameroon persecution, direct persecution inside our neighborhoods and our villages. So the strengthening of the different blocks with the liberation tax allow a stiffer resistance that could be applied immediately rather than waiting for a deployment of Amazonian Defense Forces from one state to come and help. So we just need to continue with those type of gains this year. We need this to be broader, to implement it broader. So it is a major step, as you put it. As I said,
All right.
certain questions were asked and we got the answers.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have
GDC
all listened to the DEF chair. I think the logistics have something to add on to what the DEF chair said. Go ahead, logistics.
Something very fundamental has occurred with the liberation tax. Something very fundamental, just to add to what the DEF chair has said.
Can we just hold it there and say we are coming to liberation tax?
No, I just want to just follow through. I'm not really going on liberation tax. I'm
Okay.
just trying to add a piece of what he, just to solidify some of the things that he put in place. He has just stated. I don't want to lose my thought. What we have seen in 2024 is, I can call it the stabilization and the normalization of the war mode in our territory. I know I'm just trying to pivot a little bit into that liberation tax, but I'm just trying to give a recap of what we saw in 2024, the implementations, the policies that we put in place, and how we implemented it, and the outcome. Specifically, I know we're going to talk about the liberation tax, but we have experienced now the stabilization of our territory in certain areas, and it continues to expand. And we have normalized the war mode in our territory. I want us to really sip in this piece. We have stabilized our certain territories in our land, and we have normalized our people and our land into war mode because of the strategic policies that we put in place and we have implemented in our territory. I can say this because at times we sit and engage and evaluate what we are doing. We can feel the temperature and feel how relieved some of the stress that we had prosecuting this war. And I can comfortably and confidently say that our policies and our strategies are working and we are on point. So let me leave it at that level.
All right. Thank you so much, logistics, for that input, and thank you so much, DEF chair. According to the DEF chair, what he saw in his vision was in 2024 was his dream, just like Martin Luther King saw his dream. I think the DEF chair saw his dream coming true 2024, if I might say. Now, there is something. When Paul Biya declared war on Ambazonia and the tarmac, he gave 2 weeks for them to sweep Ambazonia away. After all, why should a slave stand up to complain on the master's table? He was saying so knowing that his bees and gendarmes, military, were trained by Joe Biden's America, they were invincible. He had so much confidence on them. And there is something that the DEF chair said that tweaked me, and I want us to look at it. DEF chair said that Cameroon has been embarrassed and humiliated by us. I want us to get into this and make sure that our people see these words or see the effect of these words in Ambazonia. So anybody who want to come in first can come in and let us talk on this, how Cameroon was embarrassed, humiliated, and we have been fighting for 8 years and counting, while it was supposed to be 2 weeks. Yes, man of God.
Yeah, I really like the word embarrassment. You know, sometimes I feel I have to talk in pidgin
Go ahead, go ahead.
so that I can really express my thought. When would they grow up? You know that when some small pikin they fight some big man, they beat that big man. The big man just there for fight just because he no one talks in that small pikin they beat him. And so the thing don't happen. Look, we don't really defeat Cameroon. You know, Def Chebe, they talk about some enablers then. Our real problem for this journey, now those people where they breathe like Ambazonians, they look like Ambazonians, but in their heart, they are not Ambazonians, like the Galagerats and all the like. Cameroon don't be embarrassed because people, the way when he cough, bah, they poo for their pants. Now when he cough, the people do the cough. When they want talk, the people then talk. Like you rightly talk, probably I be give 2 weeks. So they go dissolve Ambazonia like 2 cube sugar.
Yes.
But it don't happen for not be the case. Now for tell you say Cameroon don't be embarrassed. The embarrassment are still waiting. Cameroon get well-trained professional fighters, and then Ambazonia boys, they just come off a backside, they pick stone, challenge those people where they don't be trained. That's an embarrassment.
And humiliation.
Man will never get no training. So this, it take me back to the scriptures. Goliath, an experienced military man. David show up with no skills, with no experience.
Yes,
But he
Lord.
rely on the God-given instinct in him. Say, I stand on a righteous cause. So I go defeat this man where he defend an evil cause. That's where the embarrassment come from. Where you see untrained people, they mesmerize trained people for battlefield. Humiliate them.
I like that word.
They did run their
Mesmerize.
post. They did run their post. They did resign. You did see them, they confess.
Of course.
So no one this thing
Many of them
again.
did.
So,
Many of them did Dubai.
exactly.
Yeah.
So make a hold my piece on this
All
one
right.
so other person if he chime in.
Yes, DDC.
All right.
I want to add that Cameroon has actually been embarrassed by us in the sense that they started off by saying we are 2 cubes of sugar that will be dissolved in water. Unfortunately for them, they have seen that the 2 cubes of sugar have soaked the water and have solidified like a rock. And they don't even know what to say. They cannot even believe that sugar that is supposed to dissolve has instead solidified. They have come in, they went right into the hospitals, something that they are not supposed to do, went in God big number, killed him. They sent their people to go to Norway, arrest our leader and lock him up. They did all sorts of things to our defense chair and our logistics. But unfortunately, we grew up even stronger than they would imagine. So I don't know. They don't mount their post again in Ambazonia. When they mount, if they manage to mount their post, when they see our fighters coming or the defense fighters coming, they run. What do we call that if it's not embarrassment? So I just want to just touch on those few points. There is more to be talked about. I yield.
I see. I'm still laughing and trying to figure out how you came out with this thought. that sugar instead of melting has solidified. What a reverse science!
Yeah.
So I'm happy to hear that. Yeah, Comrade PK.
Well, what I can say is that, like what our president, Dr. Yabacho, has always said, the earlier like the Republic of Cameroon release us and keep their country in order, the better for them. The more they try to subjugate us, their country will disintegrate. We are slowly
It will.
seeing it. It is devolving into chaos. There is bankruptcy. There is theft. There is open embezzlement. There is no accountability. You know, you see, it's a laughing stock, not only in West Africa, across Africa. Look at the people that they put in managing the country. They are confused. They don't just know what to do or where to stand. If you look from the moment that they launched, they declared war on us, that country has continuously been decaying. It is degenerating. All of us can see that teachers are unpaid, workers are unpaid. They go for years unpaid. Nope, you don't even know what is really holding the country together. I call that that set of people.
Chief.
Yeah.
It's a logistics chief. They have
Yeah,
a
go on,
100-year. They have a 100-year-old man who shits and gas in international conferences amongst his colleagues who will be running for election this year.
Est-ce qu'il y a les gens importants là-bas? Est-ce qu'il y a les gens importants là-bas?
You know, when you look at the state of that nation, I call them a gang of thieves, bandits put together by their master to subjugate their own subjects and they have been attempting to assimilate and exterminate us. That's not a nation, that's not a country. What type of country is that every decision comes from a foreign nation? We are really exposing we are exposing that particular group of people for what has been going on. This war is exposing them.
Put up the picture or the video. Put up the audio, the video of their commander-in-chief and put on that of your own commander-in-chief. And then you...
All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. All right.
One is wearing men's.
Right?
You know, Def Chair.
One is wearing diapers. So why will we not win this war? One is there with diapers. See, comrades, there are some Ambazonians who still believe that there is ever going to be a scenario where
never
their masters in Yaoundé will compensate them as the house slaves that will be on top of the field slaves that will be Ambazonia. And the worst part is that a large portion of our community is still listening to this. Some are still sitting on the fence that maybe this is going to tip the other way or that. But we just want to send them a very clear message. There is no day in hell unless the day that hell freezes over will be the day that there will ever be an entity like Cameroon with Ambazonia part of it. It will never happen. So anyone who is still hedging their bets on that, you are doing yourself and your family a disservice. Let your name not go down in the annals of history as one of those people who sat on the fence. The time is already getting over where people demonstrate and have the opportunity to demonstrate that they were part and parcel of the liberation struggle. Because Ambazonians, I can tell you, don't be surprised that in a month from today, you get up and you are rushing to pay arrears of your liberation tax because Ambazonia has been freed, and you want to have documents that showed in the free Ambazonia that you paid your liberation tax.
Sure.
Don't be surprised that in a month or two, you might be in that position. So meet your obligation. Show yourself as part of this struggle when it matters, not when it is over. And it will not be over that we are defeated by La République du Cameroon. It will be over that we have defeated La République du Cameroon. The only thing in question will be whether when we get La République out of our, La République will still remain La République, whether they will not crumble and break apart. That is the only, the thing in question is not the defeat of Ambazonia. It is whether La République du Cameroon will remain an entity when this war is over.
That's not even our business.
Let the winner bet, and those who are sitting on the fence understand this very clearly.
The signs are there. Cameroon shattered because.
Okay, all right, that's fine. We've elaborated on this, how Cameroon has been embarrassed and humiliated by taxi drivers, motorcycle riders, or call them Okada riders, guys, farmers, wine tappers, those with little or no experience. And it is something that when I heard this, the deaf chair using these words, I was like, he's inspired by some high spirit to use these words, because they are just apt, they are up to date, and they are on point. Because I think anybody who is following this revolution will really be surprised to what Cameroon is. I remember when we introduced this defense issue to, what were they holding in Nigeria again? Conclave. They were like, oh, do you know the bee? Can you fight the bee? If they will just throw the bee will wipe us out. Do you know the bee? No, they were afraid. The invincibility of the bee was too high. And that is the same spirit that Paul Biya had. Then we took them out like soldier ants. And they are not even out of soldier ants. We took them out like little ants. That's when the eyes of everybody got opened, that these guys, they only carry shoulders with nothing inside. So thank you so much for your brave men. Thank you for your leadership. And I want to thank also the World Council for this good job that they have done. Ambazonians, you are listening to ACN TV, and stay tuned as we proceed. Now, the deaf chair also made something, because 2024, every year we have two false celebrations that these people force on us to celebrate. And it is so unfortunate that some of us were really celebrating and marching and singing, when we're still naive, when we're not yet baptized. Let me say that. But now today we have come of age, we have been baptized, we understand what those days are, because we were wired from birth to believe in those days. But as we grew older, we started thinking out of the box and asking questions. The deaf chair talked about the 11th of February, and he's warning our people to stay away from the 11th of February celebrations, because that will not happen in Ambazonia. If they want, they can cross over to La République and do that. the same like the 20th May, the first day called 20th May. And 2024, we saw that we also gave La République du Cameroon a bloody nose as far as these days were concerned, and why we were asking Ambazonians not to celebrate. Chair, it is not just enough to ask Ambazonians not to celebrate this day. It is good to also educate them why you think that these days are falsification and why they shouldn't be celebrated. So this is a time for us to talk to our people to understand the reason why you ask your forces out and also commission ghost towns on such days, so that our people are well informed. So I will listen to you, sir.
Did he say, I think I'm taking a different tact. I think our justification and explanation some sort of excuse a fundamental fact. And when I sat with the FBI here, that is when, just imagine how much time I've spent in this struggle. That is when clarity came to me on this fact. Going forward, I'm not going to justify, don't go out to 11 February because on 11 February, they took plebiscite day and all of that nonsense. Don't go out on 20th May. Look, Ambazonia is at war. Ambazonia is at war. Until there is no war, any government, whether internal or external, it is irresponsible to bring civilians out in a war zone. I'm not going to judge. It is inconceivable for any human being to place the lives of kids, men, and women at risk by organizing events where you know that it is unsafe. That is so, the clarity is coming to me 7 years after the order. We will give thousands of explanations on something that is very simple and fundamental. Don't send out civilians or call out civilians when you cannot assure security. Full stop.
Perfect.
Full stop.
I think that's a good summary.
We are at war.
Yeah.
Don't send out DOs or SDOs, appoint them to Ambazonia, and you say that these are civilians. We are at war. All of those people are military leaders because you are in an occupation land, and we will go after all of them because what they do is facilitate the military doing its work. The occupation forces, the terrorists doing their work. And what work are they doing? We have documented the burning down of over 1,000 villages. We saw Mami Api burn in his bed. We saw Samsoya's head cut. We saw people removed from hospitals and shot. And you tell me that the DO facilitating that, the Ngalajeras facilitating that as civilians? They are in a war zone. They are facilitating the mission of war. So
thank you so much,
don't come out on that there is election. Don't come out that there is. Ambazonia is at war until both parties have put down their gun and there is no war before you can talk about any of this type of stuff. I yield.
All right. PK,
not symbolic days in Ambazonia. Those are not symbolic days. They don't need to be celebrated.
Okay.
let me piggyback on where Mange has started. Then I give my own input on this. Those days are days of captivity.
Yes.
Those are the days that La Republic of Cameroon celebrate the captivity of Ambazonia. And we are dissolving and dislodging those days. That's the very first thing that we have to put in our mind. Secondly, on Dev Chair's point, Dios and all of those people that you see are enforcers. They are the enforcers in our oppression and the occupation of our land. They are known combatant enemies, and we see all of them as one. They facilitate the slaughtering of our people. They give orders for the military tankers and trucks to move in our territory and kill our people. They are soldiers. They are enemy combatants that give orders. They don't carry weapons, but their orders are executed.
PK,
So
you
they
know
are enemy number one in Amazonia.
PK, you know the gendarmes are under the direct, gendarmes and the police, they are under the direct control of DOs and SDOs.
Yes.
So you cannot call the DOs and SDOs civilians.
They are military heads.
The gendarme and the police. Yes. They
are military heads.
Yeah, so that's it.
They are military heads. Yeah, they are military heads. I'm just following through with Dev Chair's statement. They are not civilians. The laws, the orders that they pass on is utilized to subjugate our people. When you see Calais in our street, I call them terrorist zones. And look at how our forces have upped their game. Look at what happened in Boyo. The defenders, these terrorists launched a particular, they were there doing Calais and, extorting from our people. What did our defenders do? They dislodged that cell. The same in Mezam. They are terrorists, and we are not going every place that they are. We will apply both conventional and non-conventional tools in extracting all those terrorists in our land. We'll take them off guard and we'll take them on the battlefield. Whether they are sleeping, whether they are sleeping, whether they are moving around our territory, we will make sure that we'll extract them and send them out of our land in body bags.
That's
including
good. Thank
their
you so
heads.
Much, thank you so much. And I think in this we will say 20th May and 11th February are tools of assimilation. Like their president asked or answered a question in France, saying they have been trying to assimilate us for as long as it can take, and it wasn't working. On this, you haven't said anything, Reverend. If you have anything to say, then if not, then we move to the next. All right, I will say silent is action. Okay, go ahead.
No, like you rightly said, it is our place to educate our people. The reason why the Dev Chair said people shouldn't celebrate those days. Now, the first question that should come to mind, they call 11 February Youth Day. What did the youth do? What achievement did the youth do that such a day is attributed to them? First of all, you see, it's a day predicated upon falsehood to give a wrong impression.
Yeah,
and
was empire.
The impression behind that falsehood is enslavement, annexation. So they paint a different picture while the intention is hidden.
Forcing you to celebrate the day you were made slave.
Exactly. Go to 20th May. They say it's National Day. How national is 20th of May? What happened? They say it's a day that people came together to vote to be one Cameroon. No. It is us that were to vote and decide. But they took advantage of their population size and
99.99.
imposed that. So these are the things we want our people to understand. These dates are they are made on the premises of falsehood to hide the intention. And like you said, in 2019, in the past, is it the 2019 the Paris peace talks where that their grandfather was there.
Mm-hmm.
There's one thing he said: always try to live on the side of truth, because whatever you are doing that is lie, you will one day say it unknowingly. He said,
Yeah.
we have been trying to occupy these people. We have been trying to absorb them. We have not succeeded. That should give every Ambazonian an open eye. That when you did not rise up, they were not able to assimilate you. Is it now that you have risen up?
What is on the throne?
So
Okay.
now the 11th, let me just end with this one. The 11th of February and the 20th of May have given us two significant dates, which we will always use to remember the annexation. Those days will help us to remember people like General Ivo, General Efang, and all those that have died. To keep our people, not to lose track of what these people have done. I yield.
Thank you so much, Reverend. Thank you so much. Thanks, all of you panelists. We are watching ACN TV, and
the deaf chair is muted and he's trying to talk.
I beg your pardon?
Put a cap on that, DDC.
I said the deaf chair was trying to talk while he was muted.
Yeah, to put a cap on that is just to make sure that, as indicated, our people on 11th of February should make sure that they stay at home, they protect their kids don't go out, so that they are not, no matter the amount of money that La République du Cameroun and their agents try to provide, no matter the type of intimidation that they want to intimidate, they should not place themselves and their kids at risk to be used as human shield, to be used for propaganda purposes. Because this is a land at war, our forces goes after La République du Cameroun forces. It is a war front, and anybody who is harmed because they get out on those days, the fault is theirs. We are sending these warnings early so that they make sure that they safeguard themselves. La République du Cameroun cannot protect you because Ambazonia is at war and they are occupying Ambazonia, and they don't have the power that they assure you they have in Ambazonia to assure your security when you come out and you place yourself in a war zone. They don't have that power to protect you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You said something that no matter how much they buy them, what are they using to buy them? Is it the sardine and bread? Or is it the $5 that they give to them? The 5,500 CFA that they give them? These people are broke. They don't have any money. They've resorted to the point where they start blocking people's Momo accounts and stealing money from there. So they don't have anything that they'll use to entice our people. They are done and dusted.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching ACN TV, a TV for us by us. ACN is being watched over Africa, and you are free to always send in your adverts to be passed on ACN. It is your TV, it is our TV. And we are on a round table with the leadership of the World Council and trying to make sure that we dissect the 2024 plan and give you a teaser of the 2025 plan. The Deaf Chair also, we have some Ambazonians, when the World Council drafted the plan for the very first time that Cameroon launched the war on Amazonia, we never factored in internal enablers, the people like Ngala Gerard and some of the black legs like my country people and other like. Let me not even just advertise them for nothing. We never factored this out as one of the distractions that will come in when we begin. But I'm happy that when the dev chair was talking about 2024, he mentioned this work of Black Legs and how they have cost the lives of many of our soldiers. And Amazonia is free, like the dev chair already said. 2024 was a year that we had a leap of hope, a leap into what we now see as going back home. It is that year that dev chair saw his dream coming true. Now Amazonia is free. You see these same people who are black legs today might be the ones shouting in Amazonia how they did this, did that, how, because some of them are using coded names, and getting jobs, and they are enjoying and doing things, forgetting that many soldiers died because of them. Now, I want to know why, because the dev chair used very strong language when he was describing this set of people. He said they were terrorists, and those are very strong languages, which means that these guys have caused some damage to this struggle. And I want us to get into it and use this time to maybe talk to some of our people who are still having this kind of brains that are thinking negative about the war, so that we can be able to put on something that our people can work in to make sure that they identify this type of people. So I don't know if you get me very well.
DDC,
PK, you can comment.
DDC, let me take up on this subject, as Dev Chair also highlighted that aspect of black legism. There are two types of black legs in our territory. The top tiers, like the Atangangis, the Ngalas, the top tiers like the Atangangis, the Ngalas, the so-called prime minister. Those are the top tier tools that they utilize to normalize and give a stamp of approval in our oppression and the killing of our people, the raising of our villages. They use them as a stamp of approval in their government in doing what they are doing to us. I would say that, the second tier are the ones on the ground. They are foot soldiers that they have on the ground that are destabilizing all the liberation efforts, where they are, they are placed to expose our fighters, to the mobilizers in our territory. The case in point, we lost one of the biggest community mobilizers in Bui about 3-4 years ago. We used to call him Doctor. So those people those are the two-tier type of black legs that we have in this revolution, and we have to make sure that we clearly distinguish them. All of them. Let me give this scenario. Look, our forefathers, all of them made a collective decision to leave the house of Enugu to come and chart the pathway for our nation. All of them. That's why they could succeed to put the blueprint of Amazonia on the map. The ones we have today, the Atangangis, the Gerard Ngalas, all those ones that are masquerading as ministers or feeding off and sucking our blood, all those ones, they are a big impediment in our liberation struggle. Can you imagine, for once, if these people had the conscience for all of them to abandon their positions and come back home. You can imagine the ripple effect it's going to cause globally. So they are the ones that are giving the stamp of approval in the raising of our villages, the killing of our children, the massacre of our people. They even sit and plan with the enemy to kill their own kind. So when you look at them, they are far more worse. Like we always say within the age of C structures, there will be no truth and reconciliation in Ambazonia. They should hear us out very clearly. It is not only going to be them, it is going to follow their generations. Because they give a stamp of approval in normalizing our oppression. Secondly, they have foot soldiers on the ground that they use to point out our liberators. The ones that have escaped, we have them. They should bear in mind as we continue to inch towards our liberation, there will be no truth and reconciliation for any of them. Money will not. The laws that will exist in Ambazonia is a law that will have no eyes. It will be blinded, and all it will have is a sword and a scale.
It's a logistics chief. If you don't mind, these people, they are such an insignificant and they are such an insignificant part of the story now, right?
Yes.
Of Ambazonia, because we have reached the level, we have passed contenderhood. We have reached the level of recognition. These people now are just a byproduct of the type of load, sand that we are carrying on our foot, but we are matching, right? They are making the load, our backs heavy, our foot heavy, but they have not been able to make us sink. We are still swimming and going. So that is, it is very assured. I know that, and I want to touch on this. I know that there was great jubilation in Yaoundé and among circles of these blacklegs and the weaver birds amongst us with the arrest of the CIC.
Yes, yeah.
And there was a lot of fear, and that is, I want us to really reassure. I want to reassure Ambazonians, you are not wrong to fight for your freedom. Whether you are in Ambazonia or you are anywhere in the world, don't allow these noisemakers, because right now they are noisemakers, they don't have any effect. Don't allow them to make you doubt your citizenship, your nationalism, and your obligation as a citizen of Ambazonia. Don't do that. Look, they believe in they believe that they can use the United States, the laws of the United States, the European Unions, and all of that to make you be afraid. Ambazonian, this is what the Americans did, not to those who fought for the British. This is what the Americans did to loyalists, what they call Tories, those who supported the British during their Civil War. They were publicly humiliated. You hear about tar and feathering. Do you know tar and feathering? You know this quota that they put on the road, right? Yeah. They use tar and feathering, this black. You see, they throw it on people's skin. And then they take these, they take the feathers of chicken. So it is like if you see how our juju, like you see them cock, how the cock comes out. That is how some of these people, they were naked. And then you see them walking on the street, and they make them walk on the street. That is like cock. And you think that they have worn a cloth on their skin. No, it was not a cloth that they had on their skin. That was tar and feathering. Those who back the British against the Americans who backed the British against the Americans in their Civil War. Their homes,
Okay.
businesses, and lands were seized and destroyed. Many states passed laws, confiscation laws that confiscated, stripping loyalists of their land and possession. Look, think that they can come to this country, the country that have dealt with the Ngala Gerrats, and make it such that they use the laws of the country against us for the Ngala Gerrats. This is what they did to those who were blacklegs in America.
Mhm.
So we haven't even started. They sent some of them after the war. More than 60, about 80,000 loyalists were exiled and sent to Britain to go and live under their king that they supported. So it's just a tip of the iceberg that I am putting.
Yeah.
So what I am doing all of this that I am doing, Ambazonia, is just to tell you that don't allow these people, because they have their louder mouths, they have their lobbies, they have come and embedded in these societies here when they have stolen their families, those who were ministers in the Bia Junta, that they have now been sent here and they are using the laws of the European Union and this to benefit them. Don't let them make you afraid. Stand on your principles, because when you come in front of a judge, they know what they do to traitors and terrorists like this. It is embedded in their history. Nobody likes a traitor against his own people. Nobody. They are the worst part of any society. The traitors who sell out their own people, those who kill their own people, those are the worst things any society has. In the Middle East, they bury them up to their neck and they stone them. In South Africa, they put tires on their body and burn them. In America, they send them on exile, they hang them, they seize their possessions.
Even in
And
Norway,
put them on fire.
even in Norway,
Squads. No people like a traitor against their own people. But we have allowed in the communities that we see, the traitors of our people have the louder voices and they are looking at them instead as people to be listened to.
one of our own. Nonsense.
Yeah, we will make these societies reject them for the piece of excrement that all of them are.
Thank you,
We will
Dev.
expose them.
Thank you, Dev.
Sorry
Thank
for
you so much.
taking over your panel.
Yes, man of God.
Yeah, I think, like you said, one of the things we did not factor in was the issues of these people who look like us. They are our acquaintance. They breathe like Ambazonians. They look like Ambazonians. They talk like Ambazonians, but they are not Ambazonians in their heart. The scripture says a man's foe is that of his household. Your acquaintance, like the deaf chair just said, it has transcended. It's now a generational issue. Their fathers were sellouts. Now the children are following the same footstep,
Mm-hmm.
running around in the name that they are lawyers, church and bail, church and bail lawyers. And one time, I think in the US, Ivo claimed one in court, and I don't know if he's finished that debt paid. So this is one of the things I want to say. You know, this they have certain names. They are blacklegs, they are enablers, they are spoilers, and then up to the extent that they also form guys who look like fighters. They are not fighters. They call them fake. So they are fake ambas. They have different categories that they operate in. And these are exactly our problem. We have defeated Cameroon. Cameroon has been defeated. Why are they pursuing Dr. Cho? Why are they coming to the US? It is because on the ground, they have lost grounds. They have lost their position. They begin to try other options. And these enablers are the tools that they are trying to use to give them a half-life. But let all enablers know. The DEFCHA have just given some example what happened to some enablers to the country which is considered today the most powerful country in the world. What happened to them? That story have not changed. So it's the same thing that will happen. So let me yield for some other people to chime in.
All right. Thank you so much, Logistic Chief, man of God. I please, if you're following us on ACN or you're following us on YouTube or you're following us on Facebook, please, the way to pay your liberation tax for 2025 is www.atlaafrica, I think, www.atlaafrica. Yeah, so, and you will be directed to the pay portal where you can pay a liberation tax, or you contact any mission chair in whatever country that you are in. We will be riding on, and I want to believe, like the man of God just said, that the name of this gentleman was really inspired by God, because God already knew what he would become, and the name is Nsalai. Those who are from South, meaning lost place. The meaning is lost place. So that's why he's been losing and doing.
What's the meaning?
I'm just
Lost
surprised
case.
that he has noticed this. The name is Nsalai. They are lost case. So he was really inspired. I think God inspired the person that gave. If I see that person, in fact, I have to go and pray on his grandfather's grave, because I think the grandfather already knew that these guys will be like this. It's not like
DDC, why don't you round up the defense portion, give to the Iron Lady to make
look.
to
I
the
really
liberation
no.
tax.
I'm really
Rounding
really-
that up, just give this thing what are we promising
Okay.
to the Amazonian people for the
so
2025?
I was at the build up, so that by the time the Iron Lady comes in, we have the number that I want. That's why I see my eyes is only going this way, because where we are now, defense has taken us to a place where everybody must be happy. Defense has taken us to a place where you now see that the woman, that your beautiful wife, is already 8 months and a half pregnant. So, and when your wife is 8 months and a half pregnant, that is the time you know that even 1 million is not enough. Even 2 million is not enough, because you don't know how the delivery will look like. So you see, you have to go around searching for whatever uncap, whatever money you can have. So I want that the Iron Lady comes in at that very special moment. And ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned, because the Iron Lady will be coming. The sweet Amber Lady, her smiles will charm you. You will. I think we all are aware that what our able soldiers on the ground, what they have done, is that there is a research by one francophone journalist out there who is coming out with the number of those he know. He says there might be more. That so far Cameroon has lost more than 3,000 men and women in this war fighting Amazonia. and we build more. But according to Cameroon statistics, it's about they are saying that they have lost just 1,000 and something, but we know that it's more than. So this is good job. It is an irony that people will sit down to celebrate the loss of others, but we celebrate that not because we like it, but because it's the only way for us to be alive. It is the only way for us to survive. It is the only way for us to be humans. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are in a threshold where we will be pleading with every Amazonian to stand up. We know that some of you are saying that you have relaxed back because of what is happening on the ground. They are killing our own. They are arresting our own. They are doing this. Only be if you are thinking this way, because our leader already prepared you to know that we are at war. That this is war. He said that war is not a walk in the park. That is why you see, even when they arrested him, he know that he's on battle. Even where he is now, he knows that he's on battle. He's still fighting because he already knew that it is not a walk in the park. So when you see people, when you see these Atanganji boys or some rooks that are causing havoc here and there, please let that not worry you. What you should be worried about is how you can contribute to make sure that we stop this thing as fast as possible. Whether you read or you don't contribute, it goes on. So the most important thing is to contribute to make sure that your boys and girls defend that homeland so that we can all have a stable home. Note that before the Amazonian War started, we had thieves. And the thieves are still there. The Amazonian War has given them some kind of right to upgrade. They have upgraded and they're causing all sorts of havoc. And you will see that their soldiers are struggling every day to arrest some of them. So it is left on us to understand that there are people who are trying to paint the revolution negatively. And so we have to know that we speedy this thing to its conclusion so that our people will not be dying and all this calamity that we see in Ground Zero will not go on. You will notice that we have struggled a lot and we have fought hard to make sure that we reduce the amount of kale-kales that Cameroon used to do on our street, quarters and villages. They used to run into our quarter with impunity, with their and gather everybody out, take televisions, take your electronic appliances, and ask you to pay some money before you get them back. But you will notice that with our boys being supplied with the necessary material that they need, we have been quelling all of these kale-kales. I have reported many of them when people call to tell us that these talks are causing havoc to our people somewhere, pushing people into their trucks and all whatnot. We dispatch men there and they go and stop it. It might not help everybody because we might reach there, they have taken some people away, but at least it helped to stop that. It helps to push them away from that place, and it reduces the amount of people that of our people that are affected by this their nonsense called kale-kale, whatever that word means. Today, I don't know the meaning, and I don't even want to know. No, you have also seen that with our tried approach, diplomacy, resistance, internalization, defense, economic sabotage, we have done a lot to make sure that Cameroon is creeping. When it comes economically, Cameroon is creeping until they have started taxing even women in the hospital. If you go to give birth and you have not shown that you've paid your tax, doctors might not attend to you. You cannot open a bank account without showing that you've paid your tax. Even students are taxed. Everybody is taxed in that country. It shows that we are doing a good job. It shows that we are doing a marvelous job. There are a lack of funds to continue to keep this war going. because all the monies they are having now, they're struggling but to pay the so-called soldiers who are on the battlefield, and the money is drawing out. And when soldiers are not paid, they will turn the guns on those who are supposed to pay them. So you will see that they will concentrate on the soldiers, and then civil servants will also stand up because civil servants are not paid. So Cameroon is a chaos. As Cameroon is a chaos, we are begging on all of you to make sure that we are well prepared, that when that molten magma that is boiling in Cameroon erupts, have ourselves foundation, the finance, and to make sure that we lock our borders, we get supply to our military that will make sure that we are well protected. I think 2024 have really beefed up this all what I am saying, and you will also note that we are in a good foot as far as defense is concerned, and our boys are growing every day in numbers. As you hear, the vice president also had asked that more than 1,000 soldiers be recruited, and some are already in training. We are working every day, and to keep all of these soldiers need all of us to come together, dip our hands in our pockets, and make sure that they don't go hungry. If they go hungry, it's also chaos on our side. So in order to help us help you, help our country, we all have to come together and put our hands in our pockets. We are also, in general, asking all Amazonians to support the Amazonian Liberation Tax. We came out with this because it will reduce and it will manage the monies being collected from our people, that it will go to the places that they are supposed to go. As you see, we are running community schools. We have a curriculum of education that prepares kids as assets. We no longer follow the curriculum of education of Cameroon that graduate kids as liabilities. So we also are funding those segments with the liberation tax. We are running hospitals. We cannot tell you because of the chaotic nature of our country. We are digging roads. There are videos and there are pictures that these things are happening. And we are also doing a lot of things. And with us coming together, we will start building the country even when we are still in war. It will show these people that we are different from them, because we know we are, when it comes to statehood, we are patriots. Our patriotism is unmeasured. So, ladies and gentlemen, without much to say, I will want us to conclude this phase of defense. But before then, I will give room to those in the panel to give their last word, and then we push ahead, because we have to go into the subject matter, to what really matters, and that is making sure that we make our people understand what this tax is all about, and they forget the noise and those who are trying to distract us from this taxation. Because without it, people will be exploiting people, taking monies, and you don't know what is happening with it. But when you are going somewhere and you already have your tax paper, that you have paid your tax, or you have your code on your head, and soldiers hold you and say, okay, did you say, no, I've paid my tax, you just show your paper, you pass like any other normal citizen, like it happens in any other country. Not like they hold you, take you to the bush, and they're asking you 4 million. Where will you get 4 million? That's why we see the Amazonian Defense Forces, we have strict orders, we have laws that we have given to the soldiers that they all have to follow, and they know that they have to follow that strictly. So, ladies and gentlemen, Pastor, I will begin from you. If you have anything to say concerning this, our plan and what the people should hope for 2025, then we will move on.
Yeah, thank you very much. The first thing I want to say is people should understand that when this thing started, the leader was focused on building a defense force. That we should not lose track of this, that decisions that have been made have come from a genuine heart, and those decisions have always come out to take us in the right path since we started this journey. And this is a time for people to know that the ADF is what they have. Give your support to the ADF. I yield for now.
Thank you so much, man of God, for that. And Deaf Chair said something here that makes a lot of sense, and we cannot be going ahead without really expanding on this, because when it comes to this tax, that statement is a magnet that everybody must put on their forehead, that we should take this, the issue of this struggle, as if it depends on us alone. That is our mantle. That is our motto. That is how the AGOV ADF see this liberation, and we want everybody to have that on their forehead, as if the issue depends on you alone. Logistic Chief. Are you there, Logistics? All right, if he's not there, the great Iron Lady, when you appear, hi, Sweet 16. Man, go ahead. Mezamde.
I
All right.
think. What do you want me to just jump into the liberation tax, or what do you want
No,
me to
not
do?
yet. I just want you to give your own recap on defense, and and how the liberation tax of 2023 has helped, so that when we go to 2025 asking for people to pay, and they will follow up.
I think that I will summarize that when I give my liberation tax briefing, because I'll be repeating myself.
All right, I like to tickle people, so I just wanted to tickle you. So you, all right. Logistics, are you there? All right. The Deaf Chair also made mention of the American War for Independence, where they were fighting against the British, and that their war was for something as minute as, it is not minute, but it's minute when you look at our own case, on that taxation without representation. That is just what made them to take up arms. Taxation without representation. And when you look at us, it is also torture. It is economic rape. It is everything without representation. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to get out of this sham that we find ourselves in, we want to make sure that we have a solution for our melancholic situation. The liberation tax should be the drive. It should be the way we move. So, Deaf Chair, this is your show. We are very grateful that we have a man who has carried the issue on his chest, and you have stood the test of time and still standing. And thank you for your leadership. I want you to summarize this first phase of the roundtable on the War Council, and then we move to the liberation tax. If you have something to tell your people and what they should be hoping from you, because I know you already said we were preparing last year to have a state that is under our control, and you are still working on it. That is a very pregnant word that maybe I don't want you to dive into it. And then you also made sure that our soldiers they have demonstrated within this year that they have mastery of their land, and this land is ours, by celebrating 1st of October and all what we have seen. So what should the people be expecting come 2025?
Thanks a lot, DDC. I think we went through a lot of those in this close to 2 hours, if I'm not mistaken, of conversation. As we close this panel, I just want to reassure our people that there is intentionality in what we do. We don't just go day by day praying to God to show us the road and bring us the blessings. We plan, and God helps in carrying us to implement those plans. And from the beginning of the struggle, this has been the leadership that the Ache of Sea has provided to the Ambazonian people. A leadership that lays out a groundwork and a vision for the Ambazonian state that has stood the test of time through highs and through lows. When we came to you, we indicated that there were 3 pillars on this struggle, which was increasing the cost of occupation, making sure that we internationalize the struggle, and the targeted diplomacy. We are hitting high marks on each and every single one of those pillars of the struggle. We are on the threshold. We are recognized today. In Canada, La République gave tacit recognition of Ambazonia. In the international community, people are waking up today to the recognition of Ambazonia as an entity, invited to the inauguration ceremony of the President of the Free World. My fellow Ambazonians, these things did not come as through hopes and dreams. It came to hard work and dedication by the individuals that you see here, and a lot of them that you see on screen in the ACN are not on screen. But most of all, it came because of the sacrifice, the ingenuity, the street sense, the toughness, the determination, the capacity to suffer of our men and women of the Ambazonian Defense Forces and sister forces who have fought La République to their crumbling state that they are in today. We have made La République du Cameroon at this stage thinking of putting somebody to run for election who is like Methuselah, as old as Methuselah. That is what Ambazonia has done to La République du Cameroon. Their economy is crumbled. They are looking that if they change a leader, their nation might crumble. So we just need to move on. We just need to go on. I am asking for the Ambazonian people to redouble their efforts. Redouble their effort in terms of meeting their obligations as citizens of Ambazonia. I promise you, we are going to end this war. I have told you about the pillars of the struggle and the marks that we are hitting. They are even higher internally than what we are presenting externally. But we have to be able to maintain some integrity in our operations. That's why everything is not done on TV. So if we can hit these marks that we are presenting to you on TV, think about what is behind the scene. It will even be shorter if I'm on board. Our forces this year, as the VP said, we have a mark of 1,000. We have the intention of making sure that each block is safeguarded through a revitalization of the block by block, but also through the building of neighborhood watches and civil defense in each and every community. Making sure that La République du Cameroon's catch and kill centers and catch and humiliation and extrajudicial checkpoints that they set up and forward bases, making sure that they no longer have the space or the capacity to mount those anywhere in our land unchallenged. The tax of nation building is in our hands, and it is not more than us. I draw inspirations from other struggle. You look at history, they tell you Napoleon Bonaparte was this great military strategist. This guy that was like the best in the world, that took over Europe and they could not do anything. Napoleon Bonaparte was defeated by the Haitians in the Haitian Revolution. They will not tell you that in history. So I take inspiration. So have inspiration. We will win, and we are winning this war. Just come on board, do your due diligence, do your duty for the Ambazonian people, and I promise you victory is guaranteed.
Thank you so much, Mr. Def Chair. Thank you so much. Thanks so much. Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching Ambazonia Communication Network, ACN. And with this, ladies and gentlemen, we conclude this first phase of the roundtable. Stay tuned, because we are getting to the next phase that will be hosted by Mange, Berivasan, Sheikh Yoda, and welcome to the Liberation Tax team, headed by Mangi herself, the Mama Mezam that you all know. And if you are happy,
Fair Lady of the Liberation Tax.
So, let's get to work. Let's ride on.
Are we good to go? Are we good to go?
We are good to go, Mange.
Okay. Honorable leaders, esteemed citizens, fellow Ambazonians, my brothers and sisters, our sons and daughters, our lady comrades in the struggle, I salute una all. I greet you all for the hard work that you've been doing over the years to support the Ambazonian Revolution. Through paying your liberation taxes, we have had this going for 2 years counting. And so far, I just want to take this special moment to thank those who have been faithful in paying their liberation taxes. The taxes that you have paid have gone a long way to provide community education for our children who have been deprived of basic education. We see the community schools during October 1st, when we have our October 1st Independence Day celebration, we see these schools demonstrate all the different activities. The liberation tax that you've paid has also gone a long way to build community hospitals where we are able to take our women, mothers who are in labor and cannot find a place to go to deliver babies, to go in there for basic treatment and life life sustenance. I want to thank you so much, because this liberation tax has also helped us to treat the wounded. Before this, the liberation tax, we used to have a lot of soldiers that would die from simple wounds that would go septic, and because of lack of treatment, they just die from that. I reassure you that none of our soldiers have died from septic wounds again because they are being taken care of. And I want to thank you so much for that. No single person could have done this without the effort of the liberation tax. Also, we have also used the liberation tax to fund the activities of the AGOVC movement. The smooth running of this organization is not without money. So we have used some of this money to fund some of these activities, and that is why we have stood strong, united, and resilient for the past years, overcoming all the odds and the challenges, being the 2 cubes of sugar that cannot be dissolved because of the token that you have put in the liberation tax. I just want to thank you that this effort has not gone unnoticed. That for every single dime that you put into the liberation tax, it goes to treat a wounded soldier. We have also used the liberation tax to help our IDPs. We have women that have been abandoned, young girls who have died, whose husbands have died and abandoned them at a very tender age of maybe 18, 20, 21 with 1 or 2 kids. We've been able to reach out to these kids. We've been able to reach out to these women and support them and make them understand that they are not in this alone. We are in it together. In Mezam this year, the general in Mezam went round, visited every fallen soldier, their mothers, their wives, their children. And they are also making sure that the children of these fighters go to school. So I thank you, because we could not have done this without your support. And I also want to let you know that as we are launching the 2025 liberation tax, we have gotten to that last point in this revolution where we have to give it our last push. I want to thank members of the leadership, AGOVC leadership, for those of you who have paid. Hooray! And for those of you who are still waiting for reasons that we cannot control, please make sure that you put in your taxes, you put in the money together and pay your taxes, because in AGOVC we lead by example. I talking here, I have paid my liberation tax for 10 years. And we also have the mission head for Ireland who has paid for 5 years, and a bunch of other people that have paid for 5 years. I recognize you all. I appreciate you. I give you a high five. Kudos. And I pray that many more people will copy this example. Come in and pay their liberation tax. Go to www.atla.africa and pay your liberation tax. I don't see any reason. The Dev Chair talked about taxation without representation. When we were growing up, we saw our parents pay taxes. They paid taxes. How did these taxes represent us? We were never represented because we went to all the schools that no other Cameroonian wanted to go to. Those were the schools they sent us to. They gave us the things that were least desirable by Cameroon. But now we want you to pay your taxes and send your kids to the schools that are the best schools with the best curriculum. Schools that will bring elites out in the society. We want you to pay your liberation tax so that we can free our country and build hospitals. Hospitals where people will go there without a doctor asking for, go bring your file before I see you. A hospital where we will treat without looking at people's standards or where they come from. A hospital where we will treat before we even ask where the father, the mother, the wife, or the husband is. Please come in and pay your liberation tax. I encourage every single one of you. I know that somewhere along the road, we've had some hurdles with the site. Some people have complaints, and we are working on that. We are working to make sure that all the errors or all the mistakes that have occurred, we will fix it and make sure that people that have had issues will be respected and treated with respect, following the rules of the country that we are building. At this point in time, I think I remember the last time that I called to check on the president's wife. The first thing that she asked me was, when is the 2025 liberation tax payment beginning? I told her, she said, because the president says if she must not pay any bill, she should make sure that she pays the liberation tax for 2025. That is leading by example. I remember the VP called the other day. He went in and put a note that he has paid his liberation tax. VP, I'm so proud of you. The list is so long. I cannot exhaust. For those of you who have paid that I cannot remember, all of you, I just want to thank you. I doff my heart to you. And I pray that anybody who is watching me, please go on www.atla.africa and pay your liberation tax. And if that is a challenge to some of us who have technical problems with the computer system, go to your missions, your different missions, call the chair of your mission and pay your liberation tax to them. It will still reach the right place. At this point in time, I will invite all the panelists to come in and let's just talk about the liberation tax and discuss. And if there's anybody in the who is watching us that has a question, you can call and ask questions, and I will help clarify your doubts and make sure that all the areas of doubt are cleared out. Thank you.
Thank you, Mangi. Can you maybe give a number, a calling number, maybe?
I told Comdeb to put it up. Comdeb, do you want to put that up, or you want me to call it? Because if I call it, I'll keep calling it, but I want him to kind of put it up so that everybody sees it and can call.
I think he should be working on it.
Okay.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I know all of us are very, very happy when we see action, when we see boom. When you see me write boom, some of you come and you're very happy and you are enjoying. It doesn't just come like that. It comes from extra work. It comes from sacrifices. Your sacrifices, the sacrifices of the soldiers on the ground, our combined sacrifices brings about that boom. So this is the time you've listened to Mangi. She has explained to all of us, and those who are on the ground, they see what she's explaining, and it is left on us to make sure that we make things happen, especially those of us too from the diaspora, because there is coming a time, like the deaf chair said, when that receipt will be the most expensive thing to have, to show your kids, to show everybody that at least what they are enjoying today, this is what you did, that your family's name is also in that history. So Comdep is working to put out the number. Yes, my dear.
GDC, I think the time is already here.
I think the time
The time is already here. It is upon us. When you see Radio France, who call the spokesman of the revolution,
Mm-hmm.
and it's asking the spokesman of the revolution that is it true that your country has been invited to take part in
Donald Trump.
the inauguration of the leader of the new world? You know that time is upon us.
Yes.
We have so few, especially in this stage of revolution, we have so few markers where it allows the community to join together as one and participate in a national event. I want to thank the chair lady of the Liberation Task for the tremendous work that she's been doing to get this online. But
Thank you so much, dear Chair. I also want to, I know some people will be watching us, especially hearing about the liberation tax for the first time. And if you are that person that is hearing about the liberation tax for the first time, there is always first time for everything. I want to encourage you to know that our families on ground zero are paying, every lady is paying $5,000 Colonia CFA. Every man pays 10,000 Colonia CFA. And for diasporans in Africa, they are paying $50. Diasporans in the rest of the world, they pay $100. So if you want that rundown again or you did not catch it, please contact me. My phone number is 763-501-2808. I believe that the ComDev will be putting that on the.
Can you call it with the international code, maybe? I think it's plus something. Yeah, is it plus what? Or yeah, because
I think that is it the number on WhatsApp?
Yes.
Yes.
WhatsApp 763.
So if it's WhatsApp, everybody can use, right?
Yeah, it's
but
WhatsApp.
you must
give your code, Mange, your code. Somebody needs
if
to
you are
use your code
typing, you
before it
must
can
put on
work.
the code, the country code. Without that, you will not go.
I think your country
It's
code
just
is
a plus.
001. Not
It's
everybody
001,
knows.
I think.
Plus one or
So that
001.
should be 001-763-501-2808.
Yeah. And for anybody watching out there, if you know any of us and you want to call and you have our numbers, you can call anybody and we'll be able to put you through. So it is the same.
So as I was saying before, the really brilliant intervention there by the Iron Lady, it's that we have so few instances where our nationalism can be translated into action, and this is one of them. In this stage of liberation, this is our identity card. We are in Ambazonians by birth and by everything, but sometimes you need that identity card to formalize that. In this stage of liberation, this is what we do. And the length and breadth of this, as the Iron Lady, as the chair lady of the Liberation Task laid out, is huge. From community schools to hospitals to our neighborhood development to governance. to governance. You look at the cabinet, the AGOVC, the leader of the revolution, Dr. Cho, and the leadership of the vice president on down to the War Council. It is a demonstration of an Ambazonian capable of walking and chewing gum at the same time. An Ambazonian fighting for its liberation, but an Ambazonian that is taking care and putting the foundation of the education system, the health system, the diplomacy, and all of these other very vital institutions. We stand today as a people that are recognized as a people once amongst the world. The court in Banjul very clearly stated the Ambazonian people are separate from La République du Cameroon. A clearly stated fact. The Trump administration is turning out to be the government that ends colonialism in Africa. Think about that. Of all the governments and peoples that have come before, Donald J. Trump might go down in history as the president who did away with the last colonial states in Africa. But that is not in spite of the hard work. It is because of the hard work of the governing Ambazonian Governing Council and its leadership. A hard work that is delivering for the Ambazonian people. And I would love to see the Ambazonian flag and the Ambazonian people, no matter your political leaning, to come together in DC to run the Ambazonian flag high and to stand proud as one of the recognized nations of the world. That is a galvanizing tool that all of us Ambazonians can demonstrate. It is a win for Ambazonia, it's not a win for the AGOVC. And when you see these major strides, things that you haven't seen in Ambazonia, both at the level of the ground and at the level of diplomacy, why wouldn't you pay 100 years of your liberation tax right now so that the war ends tomorrow? Why? Give me the reason why you will sit down and you don't go now like this that we are talking and click on atlas.africa and pay 100 years of your liberation tax so that we end this. We are, as the DDC said, it is not time. He was talking about that. The time is coming. Ambazonians, the time is now. The time is now. Man of God, you are not in church. I hand it over to you. To you.
Yeah, thank you, Deaf Chair. One of the things that God promotes is giving, and especially when you're giving for a good cause, like the one that we are facing. It's a good cause. Now, when it comes to the things of the church, giving is a seed. What the enemy does, the enemy come to people, give them bread and sardine. When there is 11 February and 20th May, they deceive you with 2,000 francs, not knowing that that is your future you are mortgaging. Now, but with the liberation tax, you are investing into your future. You are not mortgaging. So those who are taking bread and sardine and they give you money to go and do some funny things that you want to go and match, you are selling. I mean, if I use the word mortgaging, you may not understand. You are selling away your future. You are behaving like Esau. You give away your right. The other day, some chiefs were lamenting how when they go for an occasion, an event, they don't know who prepared their food. Annexation is actually that their slavery is actually playing before their very own eyes, and their minds are so darkened that they can't see. That is the reason why we need to pay our liberation tax. Invest into our future. So we should own the outcome, because it will not be good that Ambazonia is mortgaged, and then when we are free, we don't have control over the assets. That's the idea behind liberation tax. That you don't mortgage your freedom. When you are free, you have economic freedom, you have political freedom, you have all the freedom that you need to exist as a nation, or we have all the freedom that we need to exist as a nation. So this is not something that people must be talked into. It is something that it has to be willingly done. And I think I made a statement before that when this thing started, the leadership of the EGOFC embarked in building a defense force. In that continuation of making good decisions and policies, this is the one called liberation tax. This liberation tax will help to stop all the harassment that people face on the way. You enter a car, you want to go for about 10 kilometers, you pass checkpoints where every checkpoint they ask you to pay money. So liberation tax is coming to stop all those harassments so that you will move around freely, not afraid, proud of your country, proud of your nationality.
Yeah.
And don't forget to know that the liberation tax is used to start doing some other developments like the community schools and the health centers that are being erected. Some people's responsibility is to face the enemy in the battlefield, eyeball to eyeball. While you and me, we have the responsibility to give them provision of what they need to face the enemy. It is, of course, a just cause. And like I said, when you're giving your liberation tax, you are investing into your future. Not only your future, the future of your children, your children's children, your children's children's children. You are investing into the future of Ambazonia. Liberation tax has come to stabilize the Ambazonia Defense Forces, those who are manning their post on the ground, challenging the enemy eyeball to eyeball, disrupting every colonial outpost that has been designed to harass Ambazonians and to torment them. So liberation tax is that you are not going to face them eyeball to eyeball, but to give those who God have called to challenge them in that respect. And I want to say that this course that we are pursuing is not for the faint-hearted. Remember, freedom starts from your mind. When your mind thinks right, you will do the right thing. And liberation tax is one of those things that you and me have to do to make sure boots are on the ground and the enemy is challenged eyeball to eyeball, method for method. Their invincibility is shattered. They are economically weakened. The occupier has become so poor that people will do transaction on monetary transaction on their phone. They are charging them. Liberation tax has come to hasten the day of that freedom.
Thank you so much, man of God. Thank you. Thank you.
You're
I think
welcome.
you have broken it down to the level that every lay person can understand. If Comdep can put that number on pin the number so that people can call with questions, people can call and pay their liberation tax, people can call and announce that they want to pay for 10 years, they want to pay for 5 years. I just like good news. So please, I like to hear people call and commit to 5, 10 years, 15 years, because they want to see our freedom. Hello? Can you hear me?
I can hear you 5/5.
Okay, I am live on ACN TV. Is that why you're calling?
I can watch all of you live on ACN TV.
Okay.
This is Merton. He come from the Netherlands.
Okay, you are welcome. What
Thank you very much.
what do you have to tell us and the Ambazonians?
Now I call on the question of the launching of the liberation tax to chip in my few words of congratulations to the leadership of the AGOC, and also to throw a word to our people, my fellow Ambazonian people. I call upon each and every one of you in the diaspora or back in the home, ground 1 or 2. Don't see the liberation tax as a form of punishment upon you in any form. It should be a pride that you should pay this liberation tax. It's for our freedom. It is for the total freedom of Ambazonia. So you can live freely in a country where you were born and your placenta buried. Forget about all those riverbed creating noise and down, up and down. AGOC says forcing you pay. No, it should be it's patriotic to pay. Then think of paying all those bribery. They come and harass you in a group, lock over the gendarmerie, pay Calais liberation. That would never happen in a free Ambazonia. Please, we need to pay our liberation tax so we can go home and rebuild our country and live freely and govern ourselves. Let those who are qualified to govern, and we sit behind and let them go. And I want to achieve something in the panel.
Yes.
I want the leadership of the AGOC and some think tank what can we do about, because when you look back in Ambazonia, we have this cultural group that are more powerful when it comes to raising funds. They are so powerful in raising funds and forget that their home country is not liberated. So how do you continue to raise funds at the level of your cultural group, storing it here, sending it sometimes to some claiming chiefs who have exiled themselves living in Cameroon when they are not even in their home? protecting the traditional way they were enthroned to protect. So how do we sensitize our cultural group to know that it is a duty for them to fight and see that the home front is liberated, so they go and live freely than talking about develop cultural. What are you culturing from? You become very strong in the diaspora. And then there is a cultural group that raise money and even call and build Cameroon to come and build a military barrack in their village. What a shame. So I think something should be done about this, and I want to end here by thanking all of you on this panel. And I call on, I know my able comrade right from the SUI, this comrade Brigadier Kwai might not even know me right now. Please, I will need to contact me behind the scenes so we can continue, because I am one comrade, Nathan Asson, will constantly talk about you, and yeah, we need to talk behind the scene. So I am Maitre Nicon from the Netherlands. God bless. And once again, I'm going to renew my task for this year, not only for myself, but for my entire family.
Maitre,
Again.
I respect. Thank you so much, Maitre. I appreciate.
I think my able friend Kavi knows me and knows what I am doing. Some of the things we don't display them here. He knows how I operate. Sometimes like lone wolves, sometimes like Thank you very much. God bless. Please, fellow Ambazonian, pay your liberation tax, please, so that we can go home.
Thank
and
you.
All of those thinking of cultural groups, raising money, is not going to help you. You will all and die here in the diaspora and not even go home.
Thank you so much, Maitre. Thank you.
Thank you very much. God bless.
God bless you too. Thank you. I think we all have heard from Maitre how important it is for us to pay our liberation taxes. And he talks about the cultural groups. You know, at times when I see the cultural groups come out and they display and they do all these things, I just look at it and I smile. Because if they play the rhythm of Asamba, those of us who came from Ambazonia, we will know. If they play in Baralum, you know. If they play in Jang, you know. But the kids that we are raising here, what do they know about those different dance rhythms? So we are taking these kids to go attend our cultural meeting, that they will go back to where? We don't understand that we have to start as a group, put money together and see how we can build our own country so that we can take our children back home and teach them our culture and let them understand our culture just like we do. It's a shame. But thank you so much.
Iron Lady, I am really glad with the last presentation, and that is the voice of our people. That is the voice of a people ready for their liberation. And you just wish that is the sentiment of 100% of Ambazonian. And he brought a very critical point here. The idea of cultural groups, of school groups, like ex-students associations. All of these are colonial-driven, reactionary institutions that Ambazonians built to protect themselves. But it has instead turned into apathetic nationalistic groups that most of them don't even want to have the liberation struggle brought in their midst. See, if you notice, La République du Cameroon, when I talk about the dismantling of Power Camp, Kamak, all of these economic institutions that were dismantled and shipped, Nanga Company and all of those, that was done in a deliberate fashion to weaken us economically so that they can then break us down and occupy our land. They create government schools and fund their government schools and create our own. And we have to create these Njangis in order to fund the education of our own schools. Public Works Department, they destroy PWD, carried all the equipments to Francophone, and we have to create these Njangi groups to do developments within our village because they don't do that.
Yeah.
But those who are now in those groups, they don't even understand that those were institutions that were formed as a protest and an antidote to this colonial subjugation that they were subjugating Ambazonia. Now the loudest voices in those groups are turning those groups against Ambazonia. And those of us in those groups, our voices must be the loudest voices, and we must educate them on why these groups are so prevalent in Ambazonia and have been strategic in trying to mitigate the worst instances of the colonialism that our people face from La République du Cameroon.
Yeah, thank you, Dev Chair. And in continuation, in support of what that said, Maitre Nikon from the Netherlands, there you see a mind that has been liberated. That's a liberated mind speaking.
Yes.
A mind that understands the value of freedom. And you see all those people in these their cultural groups and associations, their minds are still being clouded by the effect of annexation or colonialism. They are yet to come out of that cocoon. It's just like you catch a bird, put it in a cage. The bird becomes so used to that cage. Even when you open the door, the bird refuses to go out because it has become so used to a particular confinement. That's what is happening to such groups. They can't break out of their mindset to understand that freedom is the only thing that money cannot buy. Not even gold. No material thing can worth freedom. Freedom is
But
you
that-
can
that
have
is-
money.
that is-
You can have money and still be a slave. You are not free.
Thank you so
So
I
much.
think that our
Yes.
comrade,
Has
I
come
think
to
that
give
our
you that
comrade
total
put that
freedom.
on the table so that the administration of this revolution also look at this Njangi group and how to bring them in line as part of the foundation to liberate our land. And if we have to, I think, legislate that, then it needs to be. I think we have to look for the means so that these cultural groups become part of the liberation effort. And I think I'll take that also on my plate as
I
one
buy
of the
that
points.
idea too. Yeah.
Yes,
I accept with you, Dev Chair.
that is
Sorry, High
let
Priest.
let me just say something. Thanks a lot. You see, what Maitre Nikov said is something that really is not only happening in Netherlands. He has really sat down and he has that's an observation that he has made for quite some time. And we here in Belgium, we have tried a lot to make sure that we talk to the cultural groups that are here. But I bet you Ambazonians are, I don't know how I can put it. In fact, they just know what that I can really put that will suit what I'm thinking in my head. Because it might sound abusive. But you see, when you go to talk to them, they'll tell you, oh, this is a cultural group. We are apolitical. Don't bring your politics here. But if the Cameroon embassy invites them, they run there to go and dance, you know. So it became so frustrating until I had to, like in my talk group where I am, if there is anything that has got to do with Cameroon, then just know that there is war. There will be war in that house. I have to fight. I have to stand up because I have my own conviction. They have their own conviction. And until now, I told them if you want to be apolitical, be apolitical. Anything about Cameroon here to me also is politics. So that is how we started, and I don't know how we can change the mindset of our people. Let them know that this
No, it has
Amazonian
to
stuff
change. It
is a
has to
civil
change.
duty. Yeah, the Amazonian stuff is a civil duty. It's not politics like CPTM, SDF, and all of those things. It's a civic duty. It is being a patriot. So that is where I'm coming from. Then when you talk about these taxes, you see some people talk will say this. Say you read from social media all these naysayers. Oh, they don't arrest people and go to a bush, go collect tax. Before the taxes came, there were people who were arresting Rook soldiers who were still arresting people and taking them to the bush. It's not because of taxes. Taxes came because we want to stop those things that they are arresting people and taking them to the bush. If you pay a liberation tax in Control A, you arrive Control B, because we sold the liberation tax to all the movements. It's not only on ADF. We have sent liberation receipt to all friendly groups, liberation groups. So they all have the receipt. If there is anyone that doesn't have the receipt, then it's not a friendly group. So all of these friendly groups, we are trying to encourage them to cooperate, whereby if you have paid your liberation tax, just 5,000 for women and 10,000 for men. If you pay in Group A and you go and see Group B, you just need to show your liberation tax, you have paid your liberation tax, and you pass like a king, you pass like a queen. Now, take for instance, you have paid only 5,000, and that is for 1 year. You have paid 10,000, and that's for 1 year, and you keep showing it for the whole year. Now, take that people don't pay those taxes, and these guys, or some of these guys, they hold you. You don't have receipt, you don't have anything to give, and they're asking you for 2.5 million. You see, you start coughing out 2.5 million to give to a Rook force or to give to whatever force that is holding you. Meanwhile, if you take that 2.5 million for a year, it is more. That's 5,000 how many times? That's 10,000 how many times? So it's just to regulate, to make sure that you pay your 10,000, you keep your receipt jealously, and you are happy to go do your business in your own country as a citizen. You keep your 5,000, you are happy, you go do your business in your own country as a citizen. You hold your liberation card as your passport. You hold it jealously as your own way to show that, truly speaking, some of these guys, they spill their blood. Some of these guys, they have died. Some of these guys don't even sleep. Some of these guys, they go through all of these things in the night when I'm drinking my juice. But for me, I've sacrificed just 5,000 colonial francs for a year. Because if your house and take your television, you pay 50,000 francs to get your television, or 100,000 francs to get your television. But these boys and girls defending you, when they hear that La République du Cameroon is here, even if they just pass and shoot gun, you see how the Cameroon forces are running. That running have stopped them from getting into your house to take your television for you to come and pay 100,000 francs or 50,000 francs to retrieve it. So these people should stop and think. They should not listen to noisemakers out there who don't have something to say, who don't have a soldier they are controlling, who don't know what it means to feed a soldier, who cannot hold material, who don't know what these guys go through every day, every night, sleepless night, to stand where they are standing and make audios to talk about rubbish. So please, we should stand, make sure that we invest in our own liberation, we invest in our own freedom, because I'm telling you, we are free tomorrow. And when you see the development that will be happening in Amazonia, you will clap and you say, God, Why didn't I join this guy to fight this thing long ago when I was still young? Look at how jobs are coming and I don't even have the powers now to work because you delayed it yourself. It is the time to make a future for your kids, and that future is with Amazonia. And if you want to see that future, you have to plant, and that planting is for you making sure that you put the right materials in the right places that will take us to the right place that we want to be, and that is homeland. The liberation tax is an eye opener. The liberation tax should be what we should be drunk with. The liberation tax should be our food. The liberation tax should be the pillow on which we lay our head. Freedom is ours if we do all of these things.
Yeah. Thank you, High Priest. Just a few reactions from my angle. Now, there are some things we call fighting groups.
Let us make these conversations short so that people,
Yes.
if there's anyone that is calling, please call with your questions now and
Exactly.
get answers. Because if you stay and then you go behind and talk, we don't have ears behind us. If you have any concerns, please bring them up. Call and renew your 2025 liberation tax. We need money. We need you to pay your liberation tax. We don't want you to be able to be sneaking back home. When you're going home, you're sneaking because you are afraid that you have not paid your liberation tax. You are ashamed. I cannot even call now to start talking about it. Please be free. Call now. There's always a first time. Thank you, man of God.
Thank you, Iron Lady. Yeah. I just want to say, we talk about fighting groups. I am so worried about such labelings. For example, the ADF is a national military. We have to be blunt. Let's call a spade a spade. You cannot say a fighting unit somewhere in Bafut called 7 Kata and you want to weigh up the 7 Kata to ADF. No, 7 Kata is a fighting unit. It is a fighting unit. You will not say a group of guys in one place in say Mountain Lions. It's a fighting unit. But the ADF is all over the national territory. And the money that the ADF collects from the liberation tax, it goes to support all those units on the ground. I don't call them groups. They are not groups. Those are units. So we should give people the real picture of what is on the ground. So this liberation tax is to help everyone on the ground who has risen to challenge the enemy. Now, you see, these people that they are in these their cultural groups where when they see activities of the enemy, they are animated. But when it comes to the liberation of their nation, they go cold. Some of them, it is because they are descendants of enablers and spoilers. Some of them, they lack merit. Oh, if Amazonia is free, I will not have a space. But they forget to know, in Amazonia, people will do things based on merit. If a potential is seen in you, that potential will be harnessed so that it becomes fruitful to the benefit of the nation and you as a person. These are some of the things that the liberation tax is coming to do. So people should, I don't beg people. You don't beg people for their freedom. Anybody you beg for their freedom, you are into trouble. This thing is out of conviction.
Freedom fighter, I think Iron Lady and for our people who are reacting, do that. The chair lady is here, we are here. I know that it is sometimes difficult to come on, but that is fine. If you cannot come on, you can send in text message and it can either be used or read, or or your question will be answered after we are done here. So the lines are open. You have question, text it in, even if when we close here, so that it can facilitate you. But one of the things that it is very, very, very critical, and I thought that this job has been completed, but I know that it is human to at one time have a crisis of faith. It is human. Saint Peter had that crisis of faith even with Christ standing beside him. So, Iron Lady, you go ahead.
Hello.
Good evening to the panel.
Yeah.
Am I live?
Yes, you are live. Please, can I have a phone charger? Sorry.
All right, Madam Chair.
Yes.
Thank you for giving me this meeting. I'm glad to talk to Amazonian too, because I'm really.
Hold on a second. Hold on. Can I have a charger, please? Comdeb, can you let me back in?
Okay, let me go ahead. Get yourself ready and then take that call.
There's
So what
a
I was
caller
saying,
on the line.
yes. So are you ready to go ahead, Iron Lady? If not, I will just continue until you are ready. Then cut me, okay?
Where is it?
I call it again. Oh,
Yes,
are you getting me, madam?
I can hear you. What is your question?
Okay. I'm Elvin So Eyong. I'm an Amazonian from Manfin, Changtown. So I've been in this revolution, and for the past 8 years, I've been following up everything. I see the work of God.
Mangi, are you muted?
Okay, I don't know. So we are. It seems as if we are having some technical problems with Iron Lady. I think we are having some technical problems. So I might still be the only one on. But one of the things that I really wanted to put on the table, as I said, there are times when people have crisis of faith. And I know that the persecution of the leader of this revolution, Dr. Cho Lucas Ayaba, caused some crisis of faith in a lot of people. Ambazonians, we ourselves cannot be afraid of our own destiny. We cannot. America is not at war with Ukraine, with Ukraine, in Ukraine, or with Russia. They are not at war there. But let me tell you what has happened since the Russian invasion of Ukraine in February of 2022. Just individual Americans have contributed through private, not public, not through the government, through private non-profits like Nova Ukraine and Razom for Ukraine. These two non-profits have raised separately, each of them, over $70 million. These two private entities, non-US based non-profits have accepted donations from Americans of over $70 million each to support the war in Ukraine. Not hospitals, not only hospitals, not only humanitarian, but the frontline war effort. So if these Americans are doing that, individual Americans, some have even left America and went to Ukraine and picked up arms to fight in their militias in the front line. How can you Ambazonians be afraid of going on and supporting the defense of your own land? If they prosecute you that you are defending your own land, wouldn't they prosecute all the other Americans that are contributing for war in Ukraine? Because America is not at war with Russia, same as America is not at war with La Republic. We must accept our rights, or as the DDC said, you are that bird that has been caught, put in a cage, they open that cage door and you cannot get out. Nobody is going to come and give you. Look, if today I am arrested in America that I support the defense of the villages of Ambazonia, then they have to catch all of the Americans that are supporting the defense of the villages in Ukraine. Do you understand that? You are creating a precedence. So I don't give the excuse that you are in diaspora or you don't. That is an excuse. That is you accepting to be in a cage when you should be outside walking free. To nobody, if you had that crisis of faith, come out, support your land, support your liberation, support the setting up of the Ambazonian state. It is your right. You need to do it. Tomorrow you might see me take me to go with me to Guantanamo, or they go with me anywhere. That should not for 1 second let your crisis of faith to overwhelm you. It is a normal part of the history. It is the price we pay so that when we send people to Fumban for a conference to negotiate with others, those people know that the freedom was bought by the death chair sitting in jail, by the CIC sitting in jail, by General Efang dying, by General Ivo dying. That freedom was bought with that, so they will not be able to sleep in a hotel, and they are using prostitutes to turn their heads, and they sell their freedom down the drain. They will understand the weight of that freedom, how it was bought, and that is the markers that history is giving us, so that our people, like Americans, like all other countries, will die beneath their flag, because they know that that freedom was not handed to them. That freedom by their forefathers was fought and bled and jailed for to get it. That is the only process we are going through. Every country, every liberation go through that process. So don't be afraid to step on board and put down your liberation tax and put down your own contribution to the war effort. It is your right.
Dev, just like you're saying. Hello, Dev. I think just like you're saying, the only thing that can make any country arrest you where you are is if you violate the laws of that country. If you have not violated the laws of that country, there is just nothing they can do. And there is no way Cameroon can ask a country to arrest you because of this madness that they have orchestrated on us in Amazonia. Because anywhere, they'll even run away from it because they cannot stand in court with you. Because there is nowhere Cameroon can stand in court with us to talk about the war in Amazonia. Because there is no article existing anywhere in the UN or anywhere in the world which shows that Cameroon has a right to exercise their sovereignty over the peoples of Amazonia. There is none. So for them to write that they should arrest you because of the war, because that is something that they cannot do. They will only go around to twist, to come around certain things which lawyers could always challenge. That is why you see, even with the arrest of our leader, their hands are tied. What can they do? What do they want to do? I myself have challenged them in front of their own court, High Court in Bamenda, that if they know that Cameroon is one, they should, and they have the right to exercise their sovereignty over the peoples of Amazonia, they should charge me for secession. Because in my paper they wrote charge for secession.
Let us not beat DDC. Let us not beat around the bush. Let us not beat around the bush. The leader.
Yeah, so people should not be afraid. Let people.
Let us not beat around the bush. The leader of the liberation is in jail in Norway because the Norwegian are a racist country. If the leader of the revolution was a white man, he would not be put extrajudicially like he has been in jail right now. You cannot be putting somebody in jail and creating laws to keep that person in jail, creating new laws as he is in jail.
Is contributing. Norway is contributing to Ukraine. They're contributing to help Ukraine.
Country. These are racist officials because they will not treat a white man or a white European like they are treating the CIA. Let's not beat about the bush.
The fun is that Norway still holds the Peace Nobel Prize, something that they give yearly. They're still the host, with laws as archaic and inhumane like theirs, where you arrest somebody before you start looking for what the person has done. You arrest somebody without proper charges. You arrest somebody before you start looking at what did he commit? You go around now interviewing people, looking for what he has committed, violating his right. And you say you are a European country, you are a democratic country, and you host the bloc that issues a Nobel Peace Prize award. What a sham!
This is a racist, absolutely racist, extrajudicial, legal process against the CIC of the Ambazonian Revolution. That is it.
So, all right, Deaf Chair, with this, we will conclude. So if you have just to greet the people and then we round up, that will be it for today.
I think thanks a lot, DDC, and I know we have faced some, as we are rounding up, some technical issues there, but I think that today our people should come out with a clarity about the enormous progress that we are making on the three pillars of the revolution. Increasing the cost of occupation. Cameroon is now bankrupt. They can no longer pay their soldiers. Their soldiers are making catch and arrest and seizing food from our people in their checkpoints and money to be able to survive. The cost of occupation have gone up. The other pillar of the internationalization of the struggle, it is the untargeted diplomacy. It is there. On Tuesday, the Ambazonian people will be standing proud as other leaders of other nations in the world to observe the inauguration of the 46th president of the United States of America. The progress of our revolution is obvious and measurable. the defeat of La République du Cameroon is assured. The thing that I just want Ambazonians to go away with is that whether Ambazonia win this war of liberation or not is not in question. The only question on the table is whether La République du Cameroon will remain as an entity after the war of liberation of Ambazonia. That's the only thing in doubt, in question. We have the opportunity right now to make a significant change at these final hours of our revolution. We have a clear plan in place. The funding in place is in the hands of the Ambazonian people and how fast we can do that. Through our liberation tax, through the month end where we gather as a Jangi house and put in additional effort, through the TTOF. My fellow Ambazonians, don't limit yourself on what you can do for your nation. If you can do more, do more. There is TTOF, pay your liberation tax, but each and every month come together as a community to help.
I have a message. I have a message to you from somebody. The person is begging. The person is begging. The person is begging that I should inform you that that please, that she is going to pay her liberation tax, but there is one specific thing that she is begging that you concentrate on, and that is economic sabotage. That she has sugar each time that Cameroon goes down as far economic wise. That we should concentrate on economic sabotage. That is the message that I have to give to you. All right, thank you so much. Mange, you are in. You can take over your show.
You know, this technology, if it doesn't kill me, I don't know what will kill me. I'm telling you. If something passes, Mom, hey, sweetheart. Yeah, if technology not kill me, I don't know it will kill me. Mom, pass you, carry it back. I don't bow for technology. I was thrown out by some technical glitches, but I am back in. I just want to thank everybody that has been here from the beginning up till now. I think we've been on ACN TV live for more than 6 hours. It's a lot of commitment and dedication. I thank you all so much. Those of you who have paid your liberation tax, kudos, woo-ha! We are going home. And for those that have not paid, please go to www.adla.africa and pay your liberation tax. Ground Zero Woman A is 5,000 colonial CFA. Man Pikin, 10,000 colonial CFA. Diaspora Africa, $50, and diaspora is $100. Please go pay your liberation tax. Don't be left behind. Join the morning train. Don't be left behind. Okay? Thank you all so much for coming. I think so far we have come to the end of this program, and I just want to thank you all for listening. And I pray that wherever you have taken money to pay for your liberation tax, our good Lord will replenish it with ways that we do not understand. Thank you so much. Make it a great day.
Yeah, in your own name, Aku Nambie, Unufu, Aku Kamre, Unufu, Aku Nambie, Unufu. With the mace who die, Moramo, with the mace who die, Moramo, Anyori, me no fool. sweet home. Sweet home, sweet melody, sweet home. Sweet home, sweet melody, sweet home. Anytime I remember you, my heart they just they burn. Because say I know you miss me, but I just they run. I dey pray me love return, I dey pray me peace return, I dey pray me all the good days when we used to meet return. Yeah, yeah, more I dey miss you. Hanamonde tamaninge tienga ye chazabek. Hanamo tamaninge tienga ye waridadi. Hanamo tamaninge tienga ye chiyezabi. Oye ibire wongwe. One chance is two chance, na so good. Sweet home, sweet melody, sweet home. Sweet home, sweet melody, sweet home. Sweet home, sweet melody, sweet home. Sweet home, sweet melody, sweet home.
Mama, when the unity and up, the young I in Noah. Mama, when the unity and up, the young I in Jella Pocamo. Mama, when the unity and up, the young I in Yawa. Amara ni wuninge wajiya shanoro nori anu bujimi shepopo aku kapoe chehumane digimo chehumane domimo Chris Will in your boy ayi madwina titi yaku kapoe moriama namena titi yaku kapoe aku nambie
Anyori, me no fool. Anyori, me no fool. Sweet home, sweet melody, sweet.